control things. Many other teams want to get involved because they do not have an out-and-out sprinter, and that's why we're starting to see the counter-attacks.
Yeah, Cofidis wanted to be part of this. Johan Bagot, Roman Ardi as well can go at distance. I think that is Danny McClay. He's quite a rangy character that's just kicking on. The British rider from Breton Session, Vermental, will have to go a little bit further down, but others want to join the party.
Yeah, Franck said you thought about it, but straight onto the wheel, AG2R still there. So we've seen a battle between a lot of the French teams now. The Breton Sech rider and Cofidis have been brought back. One rider from Europcar comes to the front, tries to keep the tempo up. Still 45 seconds for the young man from Colombia. But there's two riders in between, Berard and Jules Jensen.
Is that Gauthier that's just kicking off again? It was Danny McClay, by the way. Long, rangy figure. He is the Brit. Great rider for Breton Session, Vermental. Good test for him at that point, but just joined by too many riders he didn't fancy riding along with. 15 to go, and there they look over, and that's always a great sign if you are a chaser, and not a great one if you happen to be up the road, and as he has been for most of the day. And this is Danny Martinez, just 19 years of age. We were wondering if it'd be a breakout performance by him. He's certainly got the King of the Mountains jersey tomorrow, and he still kicks on and tries to hold off the chasers. And right now there are two of them that are on his case, Julien Berard and Jules Jensen from Tinkoff Saxo. Pace up, and it is a technical run in. We remind you, this is a downhill run just for now. It does kick up and crests and then goes down again before we pick up towards the end, the very last. And in fact, at the very last, the last 500 meters, there's a little bit of a step before they reach a plateau and the run for the line. We remind you, it doesn't actually straighten out the road until about 350 meters to go. And unfortunately for Danny Martinez, it looks all done and dusted. 14 seconds only, and indeed there's a proper pace about the chasers, with teams with proper sprinters trying to get themselves ready to race. And right now these are the chasers, and in fact it's 25 seconds he's got, Martinez, back to the pack.
Yeah, and the pack are trying to be controlled from Europcar. Very difficult now to control that peloton. Everybody now, the racing has already started. They're just waiting for that final King of the Mountains. So a lot of the teams that have been sat back all day today in the first stage of the Route du Sud, the 39th edition of this race, 204 kilometres, have now come up to the front, want to get involved with the race. And it's Breton Sech, Movistar, Cult Energy up towards the front of the peloton.
Cofidis on behalf of Venturi have come up in their red jerseys, as you can see, and they're mobbing the road at the moment. And the motorcycle's been told to get out of there because, to be honest, this man could go quicker through here. He's being held up by the motorcycles. Go away, he says. That's a nightmare at a situation like this.
Yeah, just got caught out a little bit, and you just see the referees trying to usher on these bikes, but it's Jules Jensen really trying to put the pressure on. He's looking behind. He wants to try and take Berard with him, two better than one. They can just see just in front of them Martinez, the young Colombian. But Jules Jensen trying to surprise the peloton. The peloton now being led still by Europcar. Difficult to run in, small, lumpy, heavy roads all the way in towards the finish now.
Yeah, it's a shame, to be honest. He got caught by he caught the motorcycles there, just knocking his cadence and his pace. And in fact, this TV bike needs to get a little bit further away, although it's probably offering him a bit of assistance at the moment, erroneously. Two chasers then at the moment, but as you can see, the pack are coming and they're starting to rock and roll. And Svendegaard is out of the saddle for Cult Energy and on a chase down right now, and that's a big name. Oh, there we go. We have a look further back as well. Attempts being made and then neutralised almost as a constant.
Yeah, this is Alex Dowsett with Linus Gerdemann trying to go across, and it was shut down very quickly. And notice right towards the front and fourth wheel there was Alberto Contador.
It was Gerdemann, not Svendegaard out front, with Alex Dowsett as well, just pacing himself. We know that he can go very long when he needs to. Will he be allowed to today? He's on looking after duties for Quintana, perhaps, or maybe Quintana's not overly concerned about this particular title and is just riding himself back in and wants to measure himself only in the mountains, which will mean that the likes of Dowsett could have a chance today. But I think it's going to be pure sprinters by the end. We'll see. 11.6 kilometres to go, and Martinez just struggling to stay with these guys who've got much fresher legs than he, and away they go.
Yeah, Juul Jensen is the strongest in this group. Martinez has now been distanced, sorry. Berard's just trying to hang on to him. So the 27-year-old Frenchman trying to hang on to Juul Jensen.
Well, it's all breaking down behind, as you can see, and Colombia now have designs on teeing themselves up for a sprint finish. Leonardo Duque is a pocket rocket, and he tries to join the fun right now. And here we are, he'll sail by his teammate, Danny Martinez. He's now been caught by the pack. Having seen two riders just stretch themselves and bridge over. Juul Jensen, one of those, and Julien Berard from AG2R Le Mondial. But now it's starting to get a bit selective.
Yeah, it's you know, it's fantastic. The race is now opened up. It was controlled for pretty much most of the day. Europcar have kind of lost control. So many riders have been sitting in the peloton. Now see riders going down the road and want to join the party, and you know, this is going to be the race, the way of the race for the final 10 kilometers here. It's
going to be like this for 3 of the 4 days, one in the mountains, but great day for opportunists to have their fun. And I think the two men up the road, it's going to be hard to catch them. I know there's still 10.7 kilometers to go, but they've got some real power up there. That is Rubiano, by the way, for Team Colombia, just second man in line at the moment, being joined by Jauregui, Quentin Jauregui. We said we were dreading him getting up here, and he's up here right now. There he is from AG2R Le Mondial. Difficult name to pronounce, but he lets his legs do the talking. Juul Jensen and Berard. This could be two AG2R Le Mondial riders coming together and imposing themselves on this breakaway. Good kickoff by Juul Jensen.
Yeah, Berard couldn't stay, and the problem is they've got a rider just behind, and that's Jauregui. And Jauregui should be riding. He shouldn't be sitting on. He already sees that Berard has now been distanced, so he's now starting to come through. Juul Jensen, as we thought, was the strongest. Also in here is Karl Hennig of the Cult Energy team, but Berard just absolutely blown now. Can't even go with the counter-attack. 10 kilometers to go now. We have got Juul Jensen in front, a group of 4, and then Peloton just behind.
Jauregui is there, and he sails by his teammate. Juul Jensen is out front as we stand. 9.7 to go. He's only got 5 seconds, possibly a little less than that. Who is it from Cofidis in this? Just checking on the Cofidis rider right now. I think it's Romain Hardy. If it is, then he's a handy rider for the overall. We'll see. 5 seconds right now, and it looks like they've knocked it back. That gap may well just expand ever so slightly, with teams happy that they've got riders up the road for the time being. Looking at the head of the course now with 9.5 to go. Well, Juul Jensen has managed to hold on. He's got some firepower around him right now, but this is going to get busy with 9.4 to go. I think the pack, once they come on the downhill run, could well have them. We will see. It is Rossetto for Cofidis, by the way. There's your numbers. Rubiano, also an extremely strong rider, just at the back of this group, and there the Land Army trying to join in. We saw Julien Duval trying to kick off for them and trying to kick a door in right now. The KTM boys are also here. That's Team Marseille, just stretching their legs, almost catching out the camera bike. It's amazing how much pace they can suddenly put in and catch out the cameras sometimes.
We'll just look at the distance in the peloton now towards the back. A lot of riders in trouble now. No real force at the front of the peloton. And you're right, Marseille getting involved, AG2R, Colombia, but they've got riders in the front group and they'll know that, so they won't want to press on. Looked like one of the Cult Energy riders. Very difficult finish. We go around this hairpin now, but Europcar, having ridden all day, have been swept away from the front of the peloton. We've got a group of 5 riders in front. Juul Jensen, Jauregui, Rossetto, Rubiano, Karl Hennig is in that group. We've now got a counter-attack of 3 riders trying to come up to them. 22 seconds back to these riders, and a lot of racing still to be done.
Well, it is, but they're looking at each other now and just wondering who's going to take them on. Juul Jensen, Jauregui, Hennig, Rossetto and Rubiano. 5 riders, 8.9 to go and 22 seconds, and they've got some strength here.
Oh, definitely. We've seen the strength of Juul Jensen already. Rossetto for Cofidis in the red. Karl Hennig, we've already mentioned him for Cult Energy, winner of the Tour Alsace. last year, and Rubiano for Colombia. And this is a good 5-man working group. 23 seconds back to the peloton, with one rider from AG2R in between now.
Yeah, and dragging out as well, as you can see, 5 chasers from various teams, and I think some will be regretting the way this is panning out, not least Team Europcar, who really wanted a tidy run in. It's not going to happen for them.
Doesn't look like it. I'm just trying to look down to the peloton now to see if there's any riders. In the top 20 there's absolutely no riders from Europcar. It's difficult for them. They have been on the attack, or they have been riding at the front of the peloton all day, but I think that's Brian Coquard. It's the only rider towards the front. So Europcar been swept away, and I don't think they've got actually any riders left apart from Gaultier, who's at the front. So Gaultier is the rider trying to ride this AG2R rider down, but I don't think he's going to be able to ride on the front and bring back everybody for Brian Coquard to win. So a good, exciting last 10 kilometres in this race, as many riders on the attack.
Yes, indeed. And well, who's your pick out of these 5 if they're going to make it?
Well, it's difficult to say. I was just having a little look at their form over the last few races. Kyle Hinnick in the Cult Energy is probably one of the fastest riders in here, but just don't discount Juul Jensen.
No, don't discount Juul Jensen. Did you see me underline Hinnick there in my little list? We'll see. He is quick, he can go well. Rubiano as well can wrestle him. If they all start looking at each other, it's going to be hard to call. These guys, I think Europcar had the big option today, and it looks like they may well have messed it up. These guys in the breakaway are capable of maintaining this gap. That is Jauregui just coming to the rear for AG2R Le Mondial. He's reasonably quick. Rubiano of Colombia just in front of him. Hinnick, who probably starts as favourite out of this quintet if they make it, number 43 for Cult in the black. We also have Juul Jensen out front right now for Tinkoff Saxo, and Rubiano Rosetto, I think, is the one we didn't mention, just nearest to us there for Cofidis. So real firepower amongst the breakaway, and unfortunately a few broken hearts back here, I think.
Yeah, Linus Gerdeman just policing things at the front of the peloton. This gap should go up. There's no chase at the front of the peloton now that Sergio Gaultier is sat up. And obviously with Juul Jensen there, Tinkoff are happy with this. Colombia in the middle are happy with it. AG2R on the left are happy with this. And, you know, Breton Sech decide that they want to try and do something about it.
Yep, they do. But what can they possibly do? I think that's Danny McClay again. He's a sucker for punishment, if that is Danny, because he lit it up earlier on. Just tries to change the speed. And he, in fact, just shakes the head. And I'm hearing it's Anthony de la Place that's out front. So forgive me for that. There we are. 14 seconds is the gap right now, with 5.8 kilometers to go. So good roads, good approach, and some real drama, especially from the 3K marker. And these guys are going to be there in 2.7. So they're rolling with the changes and doing a nice job of it. Hinnick just getting himself some free energy on this little downhill run. It does rise and fall, and quite a sinuous road, Brian, and they're out of sight of the chasers, even though it's only 15 seconds.
Yeah, still touchable distance from the group behind, only 15 seconds. Kyle Hinnick at the back for Cult Energy, the Czech rider. Rode with the Ethics development team over the last couple of years, won the Tour of Alsace. Won a stage of the Tour of Alsace last year, so a good rider. Comes from a cyclocross background in the under-23s, but now back to the front of the peloton, and it's Breton Sech. The riders with, we're speculating at the start, they've got 2 or 3 sprinters, and they're the only team that's come up towards the front to try and bring these 5 riders back. Yeah,
well, Romain Fayeux is a pretty handy sprinter. Jonathan Yver likewise. Danny McClay. And in fact, it is Danny McClay. I was right first time, who's out front. Sorry, I was misinformed by our production team, but yeah, Danny McClay, or misguided, guided away from the truth. It's Danny McClay out front with 4.6 kilometers to go. Of the chasers, I'll remind you. He's a quick man, 17 seconds though. He can't do it all on his own, and nobody is helping him out just for now.
Not at all. 123, the Colombian rider at the back, the 30-year-old Colombian. Won a stage of the Giro d'Italia and a lone win back in 2012. He beat Mallory into the second place that day. So strong riders in the breakaway. So Hennig, Juul Jensen, Jauregui, Rusetto, Rubiano, all riders combining well, just as we see more of the green jerseys coming towards the front with Coquard on the wheel.
Yeah, plenty of green jerseys with interest here. Kaja Rorel also joining with Europcar in their green, and of course Breton Session Verimental with the black and green as well. Chased or driven on by Danny McClay at the moment, but 19 seconds it's holding with 3.8 to go, and I think these guys, provided they don't try and lean on each other or start getting spiteful, have a chance. Certainly of a top 5 finish, every single one of them, because there's 5 of them here, but who's going to take it? Well, kicking off right now is Rubiano, who tries to put in a bit of pace. Joining the front is Jauregui from AG2 a la Mondiale, and they're grinding, they're peddling squares, Europcar. I think they've let this slip through their grasp with 18 seconds to go. The rise and fall of the terrain is not going to help them, and whatever they put into this chase down right now is energy, unfortunately, that they're not going to have at the end.
Well, they came back, got their team together, came up to the front, they put a rider on the front, he's now gone, which leaves 2 riders in front of Brian Coquard. So there's not a lot of firepower when you consider 2 riders, 5 in front. You'd expect the breakaway to go further in front. And it's a difficult time. It is very doable. 16 seconds. We're starting to see Caja Rural Madrazo come up towards the front, but where's Breton Sech? Where have they disappeared to? They started the ride and now just sat back.
1 second gained in about 200 meters. It looks like this breakaway might well have their fun, except if they start to stall and start asking others to do the work. That's Rusetto from Cofidis, who just flicks his arm out and says, come on, let's get this done. Nick doesn't really want to take the front, has a very short turn, the man from Cult Energy in the black. Very short turn indeed. Leans on Juul Jensen, almost gets caught out on that little technical roundabout. As you can see, it gets more technical towards the line as well. On this lead in, we have several switchback, not exactly switchbacks, 90-degree turns to be made along the way, not just roundabouts, but of course left and right handers as well. Most of them come in at the end of this long straight under the railway bridge. They'll go after the Flamme Rouge. That's when it gets properly technical, and right now some being found out. Nick looks like he's struggling just to get back in after taking his turn. Maybe he doesn't have the sprint energy that he needs towards the end, and I'm afraid there's going to be a deficit for some of these guys further back as well. 11 seconds, but with 2Ks to go, they're going to have to push, but they can't. They've been doing so much work to tee up Brian Coquard, have Team Europcar in the green, that I think they're going to stall.
Well, I was just about to say there, it's touch and go now, only 11 seconds, but Brian Coquard is sitting second wheel. He's got 1 rider in front of him. Brian Coquard just flicked his elbow. He's trying to get Madrazo and Movistar to come through to help out. The riders from Cult Energy have come up towards the front. This is going to be very tight, and it looks as if it's 1 Europcar rider in front of Brian Coquard that's left to try and bring these 5 riders back.
Well, it's in spitting distance right now. Clock goes out, possibly a little bit wrong, but as you can see, it's very, very close at hand, and doesn't like the look of it, I don't think, Rubiano had a look behind, and I'm not surprised. 5 riders then, and it looks like the take might well happen, in which case Brian Coquard is going to have his fun right now. Here's the helicopter shot. What's the gap? To my mind, it's about 5 seconds only, so essentially all together right now, and I think that's almost a gift for Coquard as Cult Energy come up towards the front and try and engage in something today. Maybe they got other fish to fry, and I think it's Vendegaard right now.
1 kilometre to go now, and Cult Energy come towards the front. They had 1 rider in this front group, Karl Hennig. So I'm not too sure that he'll be happy at the end of the day to look behind to see his team bringing the race all back together. So it's Linus Gerdemann that just goes on to the wheel of the Cofidis rider. So it's all together now inside the last kilometre.
Wow, and these are those left and right turns that we were talking about. The final turn, by the way, is a left-hander, which will bring him to the 350 metres to go marker, and they're spreading wide across the road. And here's the technical nature of the approach. It's a difficult one to master, and especially if you want to get yourself into a lead-out train formation. Can't quite do it, and I think that's Menu as well for Ober 93, who's left it very, very late. So the final curve is just about to come up, and they're grinding. I told you there was this nasty little kick. This is about 400 meters to go marker, and here we go. Coquard is in the frame. Can he possibly do it all alone? Colombia are also involved here, and it's Duque that hits the front. Duque versus Coquard, with Venturini as well from Cofidis. Very late on, the camera shaken out by one of the sleeping policemen, and it is Ober 93 that come up and hit the front. This is good work by them. So who's going to manage to get this man back? Absolutely nobody by the looks of things, is it? They pick it up very, very late. That's Sven de Garde, I believe, at the line, but it's going elsewhere. And Ober deliver at the line and cause a huge shock here. Some big sprint names got found out late on. They can't believe it. Quite frankly, neither can the crowd. Very late look at that final turn. Goodness me, 5 hours of racing, and what a finish.